Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. As always, thanks so much for joining me in this episode of Review Flicks. I always appreciate you guys being here. So we're going to be diving into information surrounding the box office projections for Sonic 3. On the positive, it looks to be outpacing Mufasa, the prequel to the 2019 Lion King movie. But then on the negative, it looks to be the lowest opening in the franchise when it comes to the Sonic movies, which is unfortunate to hear as a Sonic fan. So to break down this news and information, we're going to jump into this article here from CBR and see what we can learn about the opening weekend to the Sonic 3 movie. So, Sonic 3 is tracking to surpass big budget Disney movie in December box office battle. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is looking to speed past Disney's highly anticipated The Lion King prequel, Mufasa, at the box office in December, and early projections look like that may in fact happen. Per deadline, Sonic 3 is looking to overtake Barry Jenkins' Mufasa by 55 million to 50 million. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is tracking to open at 55 million, whereas Mufasa is tracking to open in at 50 million. So there's only 5 million difference between them. It's a razor thin difference between these two movies. Potentially, when they update these box office tracking figures in the coming days and the coming weeks, Mufasa could overtake Sonic. It's very likely that that could potentially happen. Once Disney starts firing up its marketing machine for Mufasa, then these box office projections could vastly kind of change. They could become ultimately very, very different than what we're looking at now. But for the meantime, the fact that Sonic is outpacing a Lion King movie, when that first Lion King movie went on to make 1.6 billion at the box office, and Sonic is actually outpacing a Lion King movie when it comes to its box office opening weekend, that's quite crazy and that's quite cool. And as a Sonic fan, I'm quite happy to hear that. So, however, Disney has not fully launched its full-scale Mufasa marketing. Yeah, guys, you know what? Regardless of what you want to say about Disney, when it comes to marketing, they are absolutely juggernaut when it comes to marketing their material. So, marketing Mufasa, and when they're firing on all cylinders, I think these projections are going to change quite a lot. So, trailers for the film, though, are being shown during this weekend's Moana 2 launch. Yeah, I talked about Moana 2 and its box office and how well it's doing with its revenue on the channel yesterday. Go and check out that video if you're interested, guys. But the fact that Mufasa, the trailer, is going to be attached to Moana 2, it's going to get so much exposure. A lot of people are going to see the trailer for Mufasa. I think it's going to do absolutely explosive at the box office. When its box office run is, done and over, I think Mufasa is going to be huge, potentially joining that $1 billion club. I think it's very, very likely, based on the reception of the first Lion King movie anyway. So, the 2019 film, The Lion King, made 1.6 billion worldwide. 1.6 billion. It goes to show you how popular the Lion King franchise is. With 543.6 million coming domestically against a $260 million budget. That movie cost $260 million. That's one of the most expensive movies ever made. And guys, just before we move on to Sonic, I just want to jump over here. So, the first Lion King movie, obviously released in 2019, on Rotten Tomatoes, 51% critic score, and it had an 88% audience score. So, there's a bit of a contrast here between the critics and audience score. The audience seemed to like it more than the critics. But yeah, I would have thought that Lion King movie would have received a higher number than 51% on its critic score. So I'm quite surprised by that. But I just wanted to jump into that and show you guys the figures for the critics and audience score when it comes to Lion King. So, going down here, and then basically here it just talks about the cast list. I'm not going to read that because I'll butcher all the names. So have a pause and read of the cast list here for Mufasa if you're interested in that, guys. But anyway, moving on to Sonic. So Sonic's past box office performance. So instead of reading this, we have a nice, neat kind of table here talking about the past performances of the last two Sonic films. So, if we look at the first Sonic film, it came out in 2020. It had a $90 million production budget. The opening weekend for the first Sonic movie was $58 million. It did $146 million domestically. And then worldwide, it had a $302 million run. Its final box office. Then Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came out in 2022. Also had a $90 million budget. And then it went on to do $72 million in its opening weekend. 190 domestically, and it made 405 million worldwide for its box office. So having a jump of over 100 million from the first movie to the second movie, that's absolutely incredible. That's exactly what Paramount wanted to see, that upward trajectory from the first film to the second film, and hopefully they can recapture that magic and the upward trajectory continues on to the third film. Let's hope the third film can come in at 450 million, 500 million, so the upward trajectory continues. That's exactly what we want to see as movie fans, as Sonic fans. And we hope and pray that this Sonic movie can be profitable, because I want to see more Sonic movies. I want to see Silver appearing. I want to see all the other Sonic characters coming. So I want to see Paramount continue to make these movies. So I want to see the box office continue to go up. Let's just quickly take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores for both Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. So the first Sonic movie, critic score 64%, audience score of 93%. Moving over to Sonic 2, 69% critic score and a 96% audience score. So across the board, when it comes to Sonic 1 to Sonic 2, across the board, box office went up, the critic score went up, and the audience score went up. So across every metric, it improved from Sonic 1 to Sonic 2, which is fantastic to hear as a Sonic fan. So let's go back over to the article and keep reading. Sonic 3 may have more momentum going into its December 20th opening against Mufasa due to its all-star cast, including Keanu Reeves as Shadow. That was an absolute genius casting to have Keanu Reeves, the Baba Yaga, John Wick himself, coming in as Shadow. Jim Carrey back as well. Jim Carrey, the ultimate comedian. People love him. No matter what he's in, always elevates the material. Dual roles as Dr. Robotnik and his grandfather. Idris Elba, again, he's fantastic as Knuckles. Ben Schwartz does the voice of Sonic. He's fantastic as Sonic. Additionally, James Marsden and Tika Sumpter reprised their roles as Tom and Maddie Wachowski. So recently, Reeves talked about his role as Shadow in the prequel in a feature shared by Screen Rant. So he goes on to say this, quote, "For 50 years, Shadow has been in a state of suspended animation," Reeves said. "He's coming out of it seeking revenge. It was really the internal journey to get the anger and the emotion. It was intense. Sonic 3 and playing Shadow is really on another level," he said. So his co-star Carrie said, quote, about Reeves wanting to play the role of Shadow, he thought it was perfect. Now it's a quote. "When I heard that Keanu Reeves wanted to play Shadow, I went, oh, alright. Shadow has the sympathetic, brooding kind of darkness that Keanu has mastered so brilliantly," Carrie said. Yeah, when you think of Keanu Reeves, his most iconic role, obviously John Wick, a very brooding, a very dark, a very edgy type of character, and basically transplanting what he's done with, the John Wick kind of character, transplanting that onto Shadow is pretty similar in the way that their characters behave. Very brooding, very, very kind of lone ranger, lone wolf type of character, dark, edgy. All of that kind of stuff that he brings to the John Wick character and transplanting it kind of into the Shadow character is very close, very similar. So yeah, Keanu Reeves was very cast very well in that role of Shadow because of what he did with John Wick and how similar those two characters can be. I called him John Wick. Keanu Reeves. He's not John Wick. So Shadow is an edgy character. Absolutely he is. The film's director, Jeff Fowler, said the inclusion of the Shadow character brings a darker, more dangerous tone to the story. Quote, "Edginess is maybe not the right word, but there was a new element tonally that was just suddenly made the Sonic world feel a little bit more exciting and a little bit more dangerous. I think that's exactly what the Shadow character has done for the film," Fowler said in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. The box office predictions should be no surprise, as the two previous films did well, and the Knuckles Paramount TV miniseries starring Idris Elba set records for the streamer with its debut episode garnering more than 4 million viewing hours at the time. So both Mufasa and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 hit theaters on December 20th. So it's going to be a huge box office battle royale here between Sonic and Mufasa. But at the moment, Sonic is outpacing Mufasa with its box office opening projections, which is great to hear for myself. I love Sonic. Sonic's absolutely incredible. I grew up playing the Sega Mega Drive in the 90s. Sonic is one of the characters that's most closest and dear to my heart in all of pop culture fandom. I absolutely love Sonic, and I'm so excited to see this movie. But on the flip side, I'm really worried and concerned that it's the lowest projected movie in the Sonic franchise to be opening. It's lower than the previous two installments, so that does have me worried as a fan here. But ultimately, should we be worried just because the box office projection is lower than the past two films? When it comes to its total worldwide box office, it could beat out the other two installments, so we'll have to wait and see at the end of the day, when all is said and done, can Sonic beat out its previous two installments? I really hope that it can, because I want more of these movies, and I'm sure you guys too. So I'm a little bit worried, but on the flip side, I'm feeling positive about this movie at the same time. So guys, with all this information down, I invite you, jump into the comment section, let me know what you think. just because it has the lowest projected opening of the franchise. Do you still think that ultimately its box office worldwide total can be bigger than the previous 2 installments? I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, and opinions on that, guys. Thanks so much for being here as always. Hit that like and subscribe. It's free. It goes a long way to supporting my content and my channel, so I'd really appreciate it to have you around here as a subscriber, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video.